My name is Sally Mansfield O'Donnell, and I got into Lego about 10 years ago in this type of way. Before that I was a good Lego mum and a good Lego kid, and then I suddenly found out about mocking. And I took my first mock to the Yorkshire Brick Show 5 years ago, and it was a train shed. And I have no idea why I decided to do a train shed, but I did. And that wasn't really my métier. This is, because what I actually want to do all the time is make Lego unstraight. I want to get rid of the straight lines, which is a bit of a challenge. And this model is called Planet of the Elves, and my original idea was to base it on the Planet of the Apes story and have elves and classic spacemen and a crashed spaceship. But I quickly concluded that I couldn't build a crashed spaceship, so rethought it and went Hobbit Hole. And this Hobbit Hole at the front of it is based on the Unexpected Gathering set. So what I had to do was, not only do I want it not to be straight, but I also want landscaping and unevenness in as far as height and depth on a model is concerned. So my first job was to do this front brown part, and I also didn't want that to be straight, so I had to get the the diagonal line of the door in there. So that was where I started. I still haven't put any lights in, although because there is something to look at down at the bottom there, I should have lights in. I just haven't ever managed to get round to doing it. I then built up the second brown piece at the back with the tree on and decided on a storyline whereby the elves and the trolls are having a fight. The trolls lived underground, the elves live in the air, and so that's why I've got the elves in the tree house. This is then their magical kingdom on the right hand side, full of crystals and glass and water and beautiful things. But a lot of this stuff came out of PPB boxes, like for example these silver crystals. I had loads of those, and it was a matter of what can I do with these. And when I first started I just put loads on, and I've realised although this model looks like it is completely covered with stuff, it's a matter of working out when to stop. So I did that grey area, put the rest on and thought I've got far too much on there, so took loads off.
I love the waterfall.
Yeah, the waterfall. Well, actually what I did there was I looked at a lot of waterfalls online, Lego waterfalls. I used the internet as an inspiration and just worked out what different people were doing. And then again, tried not to make it straight down, because a lot of them do just go straight down.
Yes, when this is really interesting, because it feels everything's in motion, everything's sort of very organic. Can I ask you why you've got eyes here?
The real answer is because I'd run out of white dots without eyes on them. But the story is that there are clearly crystals. This is a crystal field full of very expensive and valuable crystals, and the eyes are magical guardians. So sometimes they're asleep and sometimes they're awake. The awake ones are clearly watching out over the crystals.
Of course.
And then of course I had depth in the water by putting different colours underneath. So what a lot of it was working out how to get the height right. So I had a baseboard underneath. I then wanted the colour. I then wanted the water surface, and I then had to get the next element, in this case the earth, with the fields of the sort of orchards and growing areas for the trolls, a level higher, and sort of build it up from there. So I started on this side, but the decisions I made regarding the height were actually dictated by this lowest point. And I realised that you always have to work from the lowest point, because yes, and the same thing happened actually with this one here.
That's another one of your...
Yeah, this is called the Indian Palace Garden, and it's based on a building in Jaipur. And here I needed to get the height right for the water, so that you'd got what looked like a pool with a fountain. I then had to build it up to get the beds, the beds for the plants right. So again, what happened was I I sorted out the shapes on a 48 by 48 plate, and then tried to work out the height. And because I'm not very experienced and not very good at this, I didn't manage to work out the height in one go. It was a matter of taking it off and putting it on and working out where to stop and so on.
And this is the original here?
Yeah, that's the original. That's the picture I took.
You say you're not very experienced. It all looks pretty impressive to me. What about this one here?
This is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The first room that the kids go into. So all of the 5 children are still there, along with the adults.
The original one, the Gene Wilder one.
The Gene Wilder one, yes.
Proper one.
The proper one. I did go back to the book, actually. I thought I'll go back to the original source material and read it. But this room is described quite quickly, and it's got rhododendron in. So in the end, I thought, well, I'll go back to the Gene Wilder version and realise that it's quite a Victorian feel to that room in the film, which is why I've got the bricks round the back. In fact, in the film there are great big arched windows, but I didn't get that height in there. The bit at the top, which is the sort of machine steampunky bit, is not evident in the film, so I just made that up. Well, to be fair, most of it I made up.
How did you get the Oompa Loompas?
I got them from a company called, well, it's no longer in existence, but one of the companies that makes custom minifigs, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Augustus Gloop, yeah.
Oh, I see eyes again at the back.
Well, that was because what I was trying to do there was in the film there is an area. There's the kids take off their coats and hands grab them. And although I didn't have any hands grabbing, that was really what I was doing. I was trying to get those eyes to have that feel, really. And I tried to get all of the children doing what they were normally doing. They were all eating things in that particular scene. And this is the chocolate waterfall. I did that 3 times. The first time I wasn't happy with it. The second time I thought it was okay. I was happy with the outcome. But I realised it was too far up the wall for there to be any idea of suction. So I thought, well, nobody else is ever going to notice that. But 3 days later, I took it all down and rebuilt it because I wanted to be able to put these bits of sort of water and movement in. So to give the idea that Augustus Gloop would be being sucked up the tube.
Here he is. That's fantastic. These are 3 beautiful sets. And I think you have succeeded in making sure that Lego isn't straight real models.
I'll carry on trying harder.
Thank you very much.